right, let me introduce our next speakers. All right, Sara Sillars. She is the GIS manager of the Applied GIS section within the Geospatial Services Division of Hillsborough County. She has a master's degree in GIS and technology from the University of Arizona and is an Air Force veteran. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Sarita Karki has over 20 years of GIS experience and is currently a GIS project manager within Hillsborough County's Applied GIS section. Her interests include using geospatial, remote sensing, and machine learning techniques to monitor changes and inform decision-making processes. She holds a master's degree in geography from the University of North Dakota. And Ingrid Jourgensen is a senior GIS analyst within Hillsborough County's Applied GIS section. She enjoys bagels, coffee, and maps. So please welcome our speakers.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for that introduction. Now I don't have to do it myself. So I'm Sara Sillars, though. I'm excited to share what we do because we are an enterprise team working behind the scenes all the time, and people don't know that we're squirreling away, creating all these things for all the departments in the county. So I'm happy to share this and highlight our work. So let's get started. We'll talk about our organization, the services we provide, who our customers are, and how we manage all of their requests. And then we'll go through some examples of our work. So we're in the Geospatial Services Division, which is under the Information and Innovation Office in the Performance Data and Analytics Department. We have 3 sections. As we've already stated, we're the Applied GIS section. That's our team there in the picture. The other 2 sections are Core Data, which handles streets and addresses, and Enterprise GIS handles infrastructure and systems. We also have an enterprise license agreement with Esri. Our team exclusively uses ArcPro, and we're slowly getting the rest of the county to also use ArcPro and get away from ArcMap. We're almost there. And we also use the ArcGIS Online suite of products, and we supplement with Adobe Illustrator and Make, which used to be Integramat. So our team provides GIS services and products to all internal county departments. Any department that doesn't have their own GIS analysts or data, they can reach out to us, and we will help them with whatever they need. And even if they do have their own GIS resources, we will still support them and provide whatever services they need. So we do still print paper maps a lot. So we plot maps, we do digital form, PDF, JPEGs, whatever format. We create and maintain geospatial data, both in our enterprise geodatabase and on ArcGIS Online. We provide any kind of geoprocessing or analysis that is needed as well, and mapping, of course. We create a multitude of web solutions, including but not limited to web maps, Survey 123, Experience Builder, dashboards, hub sites, instant apps, etc. And we also provide mobile solutions for field data collection, and we work with departments to do process improvement, whether that be going, transforming a paper workflow to a digital workflow, or helping to automate some of their processes. We also collaborate with external agencies. We do a lot of data sharing, information sharing. Sometimes we also provide GIS support to them as well. So our internal customers within Hillsborough County are the county commissioners, the county administrators, and every department underneath them. But we do have about 25 departments that are regular customers, practically on a daily basis where we're working with them. And so with this large amount of customers that we have, we get a lot of requests. And so one of the big hurdles we had about 5 years ago was there just was all of a sudden inundation of requests because everybody found out about GIS and everybody found out what we could do, and then everybody wanted everything. So, so figuring out how to manage these requests and, you know, have oversight and track what people are doing and track what the customers need, and to have that for posterity as well, was critical to like reducing redundancy and, you know, just providing good customer service and meeting deadlines and all of that. So I'm going to go through each of these steps one by one. We decided to use the GIS at our fingertips to help us manage our GIS requests. So we created a survey 123 form that the customers will fill out, tell us who they are and what they need. And then that record feeds into we have a webhook in Make, and it sends an email notification to the management team. And then the management team or the project manager will get the email that you can see on the screen and assign it to one of the GIS analysts on our team. And they do that through the request tracker that we have. And so they'll update who the request gets assigned to, when it's assigned, and set the priority. And this also helps keep visibility on the work that everybody has assigned to them. So the analysts will get the assignment, they'll work on the project, and throughout the life of the project, they'll update the statuses, project location, completion date, and any other project details that need to be updated. And then I created a dashboard for myself, just to keep tabs on what everybody's doing. And I often have customers that reach out to me directly and want to talk about projects. So this is a quick and easy way for me to see what's going on, who worked on a project, what the timeline is. And I also share this with executive leadership within the county. So now that I've told you who we are and what we do and how we do it, we're going to go through some examples of what we have. And I'll start with hurricane response because it's very recent and relevant and still ongoing. And we do get activated as the GIS unit within the Office of Emergency Management. So I'll highlight some of the things that we did for Hilton, Helene and Milton. We can just call it Hilton, it's fine. So pre-storm, we make sure that everyone who needs evacuation zone data and maps, we disperse that. And then we download the NOAA storm surge data multiple times every day and update those maps as well. Post-storm, teams go out and start collecting damage assessment, and they submit that data through a survey 123, which feeds the damage assessment dashboard. And this is huge. It was very helpful for both storms, and also helps code enforcement a lot. We also have the citizen unmet needs. These are reported by the citizens through the county website, and it comes through a form stack, which we geocoded and then displayed it on dashboards and created maps for emergency management. And this was helpful for them to be able to locate the areas of most need and deploy comfort stations, pods, feeding locations, things like that. And this is still up on the website. Some of you may have seen it. It was in the news. This is the debris collection app that we made. So citizens are aware of where the haulers are at and approximately how long it'll take to get the debris picked up. And lastly, Ingrid created this. It's a hub site for emergency management, specifically for them to be able to find all of the apps, maps, data, and anything that they need throughout the year, both before the storm season and during the storm season. It's just kind of like a one-stop shop for them, so they don't have to search through AGOL to find everything. Right, I'll pass it to Ingrid and Sarita to share their projects.
Great, thank you. Let's see, I think that last slide had a video on it. That's the one with the video. Oh yeah, I don't think it's loaded on here. That's okay. All right, well, my name is Ingrid Jourgensen. I'm a senior GIS analyst at Hillsborough County. It's my boss, Sara, that you've already met. So one of the things I do is I get to make really cool apps for customers, solve problems with their workflow, help them manage their data. We've taken a lot of paperwork flows where people just have this fire hydrant of information. They're scrambling, trying to figure out where to send their field crews. So we take all this kind of stuff and we build just really nice apps using Esri products to manage it, make it easier for them to visualize it, export it, print, we put the power back in their hands. On this emergency management hub, what we did was we loaded all of their data, all their apps that we've built them over the years into different categories like evacuation, recovery. Because what's happened over time is we've made a lot of products for different people at the Office of Emergency Management, and not everybody knows who we made for everyone else. So you get just this huge pile, and sure, you can put it in a group, but then it's mixed up with the feature layers and they forget where the link is. Setting it up like a nice website where it's easy to find, they can get to the data behind the scenes has really been helpful. Plus they can put training links and other information about what they have going on at the Office of Emergency Management. So we've loaded this with a lot of really cool apps. Sarita made a river inundation viewer. That was huge. We've used that a lot. It shows different predictions, like if the LFE is at 12 feet, what does it look like? What is that inundation spread across parcels? And then put it on at 15 feet. We also have one that's 3D, so you can see all the buildings. What happens when storm surge is 6 foot, and it goes like red, orange, yellow as it goes up. I know Dade County has something similar too that looks really nice. So those are very useful because it really helps them to identify where the problems are going to be ahead of the time of the storm. Then our next step here. So I know Manatee, you have a dashboard too that we actually, our customer looked at and they wanted ours to look similar to yours. So that was the request from a customer. I actually ended up taking the dashboard and dropping it into Experience Builder. You can do that through the embed function. And the reason I did that is we wanted to be able to link the annual report. We've got videos, maps on the website. We want them to be able to use those buttons and go other places besides just the dashboard. You can also just build a dashboard within the Experience Builder itself, just using different grid templates. For neighborhood associations, this is actually loaded inside of a hub, but this Finder app in particular is really cool. Raise your hand if you've ever had the problem of the public needing to fill out a survey and now your data is public. Yeah, it's a problem. So what we did is we did a dynamic join layer. So the update survey for, say, your HOA, they have a new contact person, they want to update that information. Well, we don't want our entire database of every single thing with neighborhood relations, confidential stuff like the president's home cell phone number, to be out there. So we have two different layers and they have a dynamic join. So the public is updating the survey. We have our original data and the join is what shows to the public. Now I will warn you, one caveat with that is once you make a dynamic join in ArcGIS Online, all your domains and your schema is locked. So get your design right before you do it, or you've got to break your URLs later. Lesson learned. But it's really cool because this app here, what they do is they search for the name. It's going to take them to their polygon and they're going to click on it. And with neighborhood relations, we have a lot of overlapping polygons. You have a crime watch, you have an HOA, you have a civic center. So we want them to pick the exact one and not update the wrong area. But if they do, that nice little dynamic drawing lets us go back and see what should have been there, go back to it, protects our data. The other cool thing we did with this is the pop-up is actually how they get into the survey. So the pop-up is coded with HTML and it takes them to the survey link, and using a custom URL, all the features, all the fields come in automatically. So the customer who just wants to say, I'm a new contact for this HOA, I just want to update my name and address. They don't have to fill out every single thing about this to go back to that form, because that's annoying, right? When you get this big long survey you have to fill out and you really only need 2 things, but it makes you do the whole thing to submit it. So this pre-populates everything. And so that's all done with that custom URL in the HTML of the pop-up. So that was a really cool project. Next up, road closure permits. So temporary traffic control, this was a big project where they had just permits flying at them from all directions. I think we have that beast sort of tamed. So they're coming in through a public survey. The contractor will apply for a permit. And then our in-house traffic management center, they use this app to actually approve all the permits. So they're going to do that through their edit tools. And raise your hand if any of you use Web App Builder and that cool copy by rectangle feature. Did anybody use that? It let you just grab stuff, copy it, and it imported all the fields with it. Okay, we lost that. That's gone. And it's been breaking my heart ever since. So the new way to do that with Experience Builder is you have to get into the map viewer, you have to go into the smart form, and you actually have to code an arcade script for every single intersection. So when they copy one of these lines from the old permit that came in from the application, and they want to make the permit lines that are going to go out to the public here, just drawing the line over the old line brings all that data from the application in. Then they can add all their permit information, see it all on the table, they can export it, and they can turn on other layers and look for problems. Is this going to be by a school? Is this by another CIP project? Look for those conflicts. The other cool thing with Experience Builder, again, is these buttons. I'm kind of in love with them. At the top there, they can actually go back to their website, to One Network, which is an outside data link. So everything that my customer was doing where they're like, going to this web page, going to that web page, it's all in one place. They don't have to remember. Constantly, they're like, can you send me this link? I forgot where this was. Everything's together. And the help document is just a PDF that we publish to AGOL and then load it in. So they can get to it anytime they want if they forget what all the widgets and tools do. The Park Storm Survey. So this was a really cool project, another Survey 123 project. But one thing we did here was we use Survey Connect. And the reason I like Survey Connect a little better than the website is if you have an existing feature layer, you can connect it directly. So if you use Survey 123 website, it makes a new feature layer. So they already had existing data they wanted me to tie into. The other problem we have is when you're doing a survey out in the field off your phone and you have VPN, it's going to drop you in Chicago, Knoll Island, who knows, right? So again, we're using the geometry here where they have to actually click the polygons that are preloaded in this map here, little yellow outlines. And that way we would make sure they're inside of our park when they drop the pin. So if there's damage on the entrance, the trees are down over the, picnic bench area, whatever, we can see exactly where they are. Using the pull data function within Survey 123 Connect in the XLS form, it imports all the park data. So again, we're saving the customer from typing all this stuff that's redundant. Parks Department might have a ton of these to fill out a day. They don't need to type the park name and address over and over and over. So Survey Connect lets them do all that. The other thing we did was we created view layers. So this is another good way. If you want to protect your data from the public, this is a public app only to make it easy for the Parks Department to access their data. But if you go and look at it in AGOL, it's going to act like it's not functioning. You can't load it. You can't see it. You can't export it. All visibility is taken off this app, off this layer completely. And only the internal layer has visibility and export options. So that way only our internal people can see the full report, if that makes sense. But it lets everybody write to it, but only a few people read it. All right. So recycling contamination, this is a cool project. Solid Waste Department has a problem with people putting stuff in the recycling bins that don't belong. Christmas lights, baby diapers, potting soil, you name it, they've tried it. And it causes the entire route to be rejected, which is a huge problem for the county. So they've been sending us Excel spreadsheets of where these are occurring, and then we're cross-referencing it against demographics to try to figure out who's doing this. Is there a common theme? And where? So the other thing we've been able to do is over time, we've been able to track and see an improvement. Less red, that's what we want. And they're also using this with a field app for a cart tagging program. So they go out and just spot check and they come out at 6 a.m. and they're peeking in your blue bins. And if they see something that doesn't belong, they're putting a little sheet of paper that says, this is what you can and cannot do. And that's the cart tagging program. But then later they can go back over and say, did this have any effect? Is education working? You know, and it's a scenario that maybe is Spanish speaking. Do our materials need to be printed in a different language? Are we not, you know, educating people in a way they can understand? So this was a cool project that's still ongoing. Oh, and I think I missed one. Okay. Yeah, this one doesn't have the slide with historic hurricanes in it. But that's okay. I'll talk about it anyway, even though I don't have a picture. There was another experience builder that has historic hurricane data. If you've seen the map gallery, there's at least 2 other maps people made with the hurricane tracks. So we have an app that has that, but on top of that, it has all the live data. So you can bring in live links. So live radar, live data from the National Weather Service. When you go to that 7-day graphical outlook that everybody's been watching a lot lately, that data is actually loaded. So instead of going to 3 different websites for NHC, NOAA, NWS, plus checking your local news, all of that live data is in one app. Plus, we can see it over our own evacuation zones. So when we're looking at peak surge, potential surge, we can actually say, how well does this match to our area? Did we evacuate the right zones? A and B, maybe we need to do C. We can actually see that close up and overlay everything. We can look at that cone and that projected path, like when Milton was coming. I think it was 800 feet from my house at one point, the line. Being able to measure it and go, okay, I'm evacuating. Not an evacuation zone, but I think I'm gonna get out of here now. Having that kind of data at your fingertips for the entire emergency management team was really helpful. They have 3 screens at the office there. That was one of the ones that was on the screen along with that dashboard with the damage assessment, pretty much nonstop. And then I'm going to turn it over to Sarita. She's going to talk about her LiDAR.
I'm sorry that Karki. Now I'm showing some of the example of the deep learning and 3D projects we did in county. For the deep learning things, we use the ArcGIS Pro with the image analyst license. Then also we use the pre-trained deep learning from the Esri. Then imagery, recent imagery, 16 imagery from the this one. Then also for the deep, you can see that there are many deep learning models are available in the Esri ArcGIS Atlas. Then we use the 3 bands aerial imagery for the deriving the buildings using the deep learning. These are the process how we derive processing using the ArcGIS image analyst. Then this one is that we derive the deep learning building. Then we added the deep learning building in the existing data set, because this data, you can see the green one is deep learning buildings. We added to the existing data set. They were missing in the existing data set. Here, after the combining data set, green one is from the deep learning. Then also we derive the tree canopy from the deep learning countywide. We use the same thing in 6-inch aerial imagery. You can then we first derive the land use cover. Then we extracted only tree canopy from the land use cover data. You can see that this is a less than 1 feet resolution. Also, we derive the tree points. For the tree point deep learning tools, it gives the tree detection in the box. It gives the crown areas, and also we can calculate the diameter of the tree crown. Then we converted those boxes, detection boxes, into point to get the tree point. Also, we derive the impervious surface using the deep learning. Also, we use using the transfer learning. We also derive the road surface to add in the impervious. Or you can see the land cover. In the land cover classification, it gives the impervious classes. Then we combine the impervious classes to derive the final surface. And this is the final surface. It is 0. We did in the 0.75 resolution. This is the example of the impervious surface we utilize in stormwater modeling. Then also we created the 3D maps using the deep learning buildings and LiDAR point cloud. You can see then also you use the Esri 3D base map solution and the flood impact solution. Then we created the 3D layers, then the 3D scene for the RGIS online. Then this is the LiDAR data. We use the 2017 LiDAR data. It is pretty old, but it is. This is the one show the classification, one show the by the elevation. Then for the 3D, for the making the 3D, there is a workflow in the using the RGS, using the Esri 3D base map solution. We derive the 3D. Then these are the 3D buildings we derived. Also, we derived the roof form. Then wherever LiDAR data is not available, we use the parcel data for the making 3D. Then also we created the bridge, overpass, and center line 3D from the LiDAR data. Also, we made the 3D tree by we added the 3D LiDAR height to the 3D points. Then we made the 3D. Then also we added the crown area to make the realistic tree. Then the final map is this one. We created the 3D base map solution, 3D base maps. It is showing the downtown Tampa area. Now this is in the same thing in the larger scale. You can see the 3D. Also for the application, we use the 3D base map for making the flood impact visualization, 3D visualization. You can see how much and the storm source. You can see in the building. You can clearly see in the blue is water depth of in the height in the 3D. You can see. For this one, we use the flood impact analysis solution and LiDAR data. This is a flood visualization in the 3D. You can see the intensity of the flood in the road, also in the building. You can see all those water height according to water height. You can visualize in the 3D. Then we put in all those data in the ArcGIS experience builder by the storm surge scenario. Also for the river inundation. Here is the also 3D base map. Also, you can do the 3D analysis, like line of sight, slice. Also, you can do the flood flight simulation too. Also, we use the deep learning derived canopy and tree for the tree prioritization of roadside tree trimming. You can see that then you can find out using the different factors. Here is you can see the prioritization level for each road segment in the county. We did this one is county-wide. You can see the county-wide tree trimming priority. That's all. Yeah.
And lastly, if this hurricane doesn't come next week, we will be having a GIS day downtown at the county center. On the first floor, there's a kind of a lobby area to the side. So you're welcome to join us. Come see what we do. We'd be happy to share more. We'll have a lot on display. And, you know, today while we're here, if you have any questions, if you want to, you know, get our contact information, we'd love to collaborate, share ideas. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of you that are doing similar things to us, so we'd love to hear what you're doing as well. That's it. Any questions? Yes.
How much of your emergency management stuff you guys are building, how much you guys had that in the web GIS?
Great question. Most of it. We do have a board that has all of the GIS products. So that's kind of where everybody can go to find the damage assessments, storm surge, evacuation zones, unmet needs, inundation. It's a lot. And yeah, and because we're activated under OEM, you know, we have to log in, we monitor requests, and we also geocoded call center data, and we had that in there and made a dashboard for that as well. It was really interesting. So yes, we are very active in WebEOC. And we're going to be moving to Crisis Track next year. So we're trying to have a kickoff meeting for that, but it keeps getting postponed because of the storms. Yes.
The deep learning models, how long does those take to train? You need to upload like a box to the library.
Oh, there is a libraries available in the Esri website. You can utilize that one. Also, you can utilize that library. Plus, you can also put your data to. There is it's called transfer learning. You can add data. I mean, your data training data. Then you can run.
Any other questions?
So when you talk about the experience model, you are doing an assignment or?
Yes. It's through ArcGIS Online. Mhm.
We use enterprise and we have so many limitations, so we use element question or done.
Gotcha.
So have to go into the regular ID for applications.
Yeah, we don't use Portal yet because of that reason. And we're trying to figure out how we want to handle that going forward. So right now, everything's just in ArcGIS Online. Mhm. Yes.
When you saw that 3D model, is that using just the LiDAR?
Actually, we use the for the we have only 2017 LiDAR data. For the newer building, we use the parcel data. They have a history and the roof type is listed in the parcel data building. That's why we use that one.
That's parcel data.
Yes, like in the parcel data, they have in the each parcel. Each building has how many stories is there. Then we average like a 10 feet of the each floor. If there is a 10 story, it will be 100 feet.
We also use the 3D buildings for ArcGIS Urban, which our team isn't using Urban. We set it up for the community and infrastructure planning team. But that is part of the reason that we did the 3D buildings. And then the natural resources team is using the 3D trees to, check for violations. So don't be cutting down your trees without a permit. Yes.
Does the property appraiser use a different methodology for their building footprints?
Yes. We do get the data from the property appraiser. But Sarita does some supplementation to that data.
Because those data is they do in the only 1/4 of the county each year. Then that place it come only after 4 years. We'll have a building data. That's why then in the missing area, then we add those data. from the
Yeah,
deep
so the
learning.
property appraiser divides the county into 4 sections, and they only update 1 section per year. So it's a 4-year cycle to have the entire county updated. And so we need more current data, and so Sarita uses the LiDAR data to supplement that.
No, imagery.
I mean, imagery,
Imagery.
sorry, yeah, because we get the imagery from the property appraiser as well. So she extracts the buildings from that.
Every year we do.
Yes,
You share it back to them.
But they don't.
do we?
Yeah, they use for the different purpose, not the.
Yeah, they don't need it for what they do. But if they wanted it, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, last year I did.
There was a question.
Not a question, but we do have a request from online for whoever.
Okay,
Come back there and I'll drop them.
okay. Sure thing, yes.
Random out of curiosity, how much of your process is money?
Oh.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, and we do try to automate everything as much as possible. Because once you start piling on the work through the years, if you're doing things manually, it's not sustainable. So we do some scripting ourselves. We use Model Builder. We also have the enterprise GIS team that they can do custom coding. Talk to Bo in the back. He's on their team. So yes, I would say most things are automated. Mhm. Any other questions? All right. Thank you for your time.